So good day everyone, class. Before we start, let's have our prayer first. Let us bow down our heads and feel the presence of the Lord. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Do not bring us to test, but deliver us from evil. Amen. So, our discussion for today is about Assessing Speaking, which is the chapter 2, Teaching and Assessing Speaking, lesson 3. So here are our reporters. The first reporter is me, of course, Mita Galmatico. The second one is Mark Ted Gupio, and the third one is Anjali Gerardo. So again, our topic is assessing speaking. So before we start, let's have this question first. Why assessing the speaking skills of students can be very challenging for English teachers? Bakit nga ba, no? So, to answer this question, it is because when a person speaks, we are unique. We are unique, everyone, right? So, it involves doing various skills at the same time, like we use appropriate vocabulary, correct grammar, we have the proper pronunciation, and other non-verbal communication skills. So, we have these two, which is the Porto 1997 and Omar 2001. So according to them, when developing oral skills is a real challenge to many teachers of English. Why, no? Because students who live in a rural area is a non-English speaking environment. That is why it is a really challenge for many of teachers of English. So here are the components to elaborate our discussion. We have the components of students' overall speaking competencies. The first one is the vocabulary, the second one is the interaction, the third one is pronunciation, the fourth one is fluency, and the fifth one is the accuracy. So that is the five components of students' overall speaking competencies. So let us start to the first one, which is the fluency. So this fluency means speaking easily, reasonably, quickly without having to stop and pause a lot. So you are fluent enough to say your opinions or thoughts to the listener, which is that is the fluency. So also it is defined in terms of the speed of spoken, delivery, no? So for example is we have the capacity to produce speech at a normal rate, which is showing that you are fluent enough to speak in that specific language. That is the fluency. The next one is the pronunciation. So we have this pronunciation. So it is the act of producing the sounds of speech, and it includes three important parts, which is the articulation, stress, and intonation. So this stress includes the proper pronunciation of the word or the proper tone of that specific word, which is, for example, is the word product. So the stress in that word is the pro. Because if we say product, it's wrong and it might misunderstood what you're saying. Kung ano sabihin mo, baka misunderstood ka ng mga students mo. So it's really important to have that proper stress and intonation. So that is the pronunciation. The third one is, of course, the vocabulary. So we all have different kinds of vocabulary, and in terms of the breadth and the depth, we have also different kinds and unique forms of communication in terms of this vocabulary. So in the word depth, deep, no, ang kalaliman ng yung vocabulary kung how mo i-use ang word differently, gaano ito kalalim. So that is the word depth. But meanwhile, the breadth is the meaning of it. So that is the vocabulary. So many of us has a wide vocabulary, lalo na if you are well spoken in English. So it is really one of the most important components of when we are assessing skills of students. So that is the vocabulary. The fourth one is the accuracy. So this accuracy again refers to the correct use of the language system. So many of us, of course, use grammatical construct. We have the grammatical form and meaning to grammatical use. That is the accuracy. And if you don't know the direct meaning of the word you are speaking, then there might be interruption in your communication process between the speaker and the listener. So it is really important to be accurate when speaking the English language. And so the last one is the interaction will be reported by Mr. Gupio.
So here is the last one, the interaction. So basically, this refers to the ability to interact with others during communicative task. So you might be know what is interaction is when speaking when you speak. So interaction enables negotiation of meaning where students notice errors like accuracy gaps and um, they or you might be adjust and enhancing grammar, vocabulary, and fluency in context. So basically, a strong interaction boosts confidence and reduces anxiety, like talking in front of your class if you are teaching, and supports accuracy by allowing peer corrections during natural practices. It's definitely uh, it elevates total speaking scores in rubrics by demonstrating communicative effectiveness in real world scenarios. For the other one, like the ESL students, it is more like activities like discussions integrate interactions with other competencies for balanced growth. So these are the um uh five components of a student's overall speaking competencies have own impact of learning to the students when they're learning their second language, which is the English. So next. Oh yeah, next. So here it is, the types of speaking assessment task. Um, Ian Kai Brown 2004 141. It provides 5 types of tasks that teachers can use to assess speaking ability of students. So next. So the first one is imitative. So what is imitative? Imitative, it involves repeating a small stretch of language and focusing. He is not interested in the task taker's competence in understanding the on pronunciation. So basically, imitative is like the imitation of learning your secondary language, which is the English, in a uh, in a school environment, which is if the teacher uses English speaking, well, definitely you will learn how to speak English too by imitating those words you know or you already know in your in the classroom rather or in your teacher. So the next one is the what's the next one? It's the intensive reading aloud. So what is intensive 1.1 reading aloud? Okay, Brown said 2004 suggests that reading aloud can be used as a companion for other more communicative tasks. So what is it? Or what is the purpose of reading aloud? So it falls under intensive speaking task, focusing on producing short stretches of oral language to test narrow aspects like pronunciation, stress, rhythm, intonation, and basic grammatical or phrases accuracy. Unlike freer tasks, it minimizes meaning negotiation or interaction, prioritizing mechanical production under controlled conditions. So, reading aloud helps us to grow or to learn about our English language. So, it also serves as a strong predictor of overall oral proficiency, as seen in tests like PONPAST by isolating foundational skills that supports broader competences like the accuracy. The next one is the intensive DRT. So, in intensive DRT, or which is the 1.2 DRT, is beneficial to elicit the specific grammatical form or a transformation of a sentence which requires minimal processing, like producing English stress patterns, words in stress and unstressed position, rhythmic structure, and intonational contours. So here in intensive DRT, it talks about or it talks about how you pronounce or how you deliver your own phrases when you speak English language. Like like you are learning uh, how to use stress, unstress in the or in your talking when you speak rather in English language. So produce reduced forms of words and phrases and using an adequate number of lexical units or words. Grammatical word classes like nouns, verbs, or pronouns, and systems like tense, agreement, pluralization, word order, pattern, rules, form. It says about basically, basically Brown said that 2004. So in this intensive DRT, you will learn also the the basic English structure, which is a uh, building a English language proficiency, or you will be learn to grow or to enhance your English speaking. So that's all my part.
So good morning, Nelson. We topic about the speaking. Sorry. Good morning. So we topic about the assessment speaking. Previous reporters mentioned that public speaking is the process of evaluating a learner's ability to effectively through spoken language. So it measures how well a person can express ideas, interact with others, and use language appropriate in real life in an academic situations. So in there's a type of speaking assessment task that includes extensive monologue. So now I will explain what is extensive. Extensive. So it's a form of communication in which one person speaks or writes act lengths about a particular topic without interruptions. So it requires the speaker or writer to organize ideas clearly, to develop them in detailed and present them in a logical order. Unlike short answers or simple conversations, extensive extensive monologue involves sustained expressions of thoughts, explanations, or stories. So it is commonly used in academic settings, public speaking, and language learning to help individuals improve fluency, confidence, and coherence. So next, please. And now let's proceed to responsive. So, responsive is a language assessment, especially in speaking tasks that are often grouped by the type of speaking performance that they require. So, it refers to the ability to give brief, meaningful responses to questions, statements, or prompts. So, it does not involve long conversations or speeches. Instead, its focus on short exchange that tests comprehensions and ability to respond appropriately. So, for example, when a teacher is as a, asked two students, "How was your weekend?" and a student answers, "It was a great." So, and I was visited grandparents. So in this responsive speaking, the response is short but meaningful and relevant to the questions. So another thing, responsive speaking is communication. It checks whether the learner can understand spoken language and respond correctly. It also tests vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciations and fluency in a limited but practical way. So in a daily life, no, so many conversations consist of short responses. So therefore, this type of task reflects real-life communication situations. It also allows examiners to quickly evaluate a student's speaking ability without requiring a long discussions. So, however, the purpose of responsive speaking tasks and assessments is to measure the teacher's comprehension of the students in terms of language production. So, this task helps teachers if see the students can process a questions and provide an appropriate answers. So, they also reduce pressures on learners because the answers are short and focused. So this makes responsive tasks suitable for beginners learners and intermediate learners. Additionally, there are useful in the classroom settings where time is limited. There's also the way of how teachers to develop the capacity learners or students. Next, please. Okay. And now let's proceed to interactive. So now it refers to interactional and transitional conversation. So interactives means refers to the process of mutual actions as responsive between two or more participants. It involves active participations, engagement, and feedback. In an interactive situations, people do not simply receive information passively. Instead, they respond questions, react, and influence the directions of the activity. Interaction is can occur between people or between a person in a group or each between a person in a system such as a computer or games. So interactivity no, is an important part of communication in education, entertainment, and social and relationship because it encourages involvement, understanding, and cooperation. So there are some examples that parts of interactive. So first, interview. So I will explain it young part and its purpose and its useful. So first is interview. So interview is a clear example of interaction. Is an interview one person ask questions while others respond. So both participants are actively involved. For example, in an in a job interview, the interviewer and candidate exchange informations as follow-up questions and clarity answers. So this process helps both sides understand each other in a better way. So next please. So the second one is drama-like tasks. So according to Malay in 1996, so a drama and task-based activities such as role-playing or activity-out scenarios are highly interactive. Participants take a roles and respond to each other in character. So for example, students may act as a customers and shopkeepers to practice communication skills. So task-based activities like group projects or problem-solving tasks also require cooperation and shared participation. So there are also a three subtypes of improvisations, role playing, and simulation. So there is one example of drama and based activities. So so next please. Nawala ko dito na part. Sorry. So the third one is the discussions and conversation. According to Brown 2004, 175. So drama discussion and conversation are everyday forms of interactions in a classroom. So in discussion, participants share opinions, ask questions, agree or disagree, and build on each other's ideas. So conversations between friends, family members, or colleagues are interactive because they involve continuous exchange and feedback. So next please. So the last one is the games. So games is one of the example of drama. Games are one of the most engaging forms of interactions. Players follow rules, make decisions, and respond to others' players. So action board games like sports and video games all involve interactions. For example, multiplayer video games like Minecraft allow players to build and explore and collaborate in a shared virtual world similarly. So games like Among Us require communication, teamwork, and strategy among players. Next, please. So the last one is extensive monologue. So extensive monologue no, is commonly used in, like I mentioned earlier, in academic settings, public speaking, and language learning to help individuals improve fluency in academic situation. So they are part of extensive monologue. First, speech in oral presentation or oral report. So it's commonly practiced to present a report paper or design a school settings, and oral presentation can be used to assess the speaking skills holistically and analytically. So this means a person prepares and informations to audience. So the speech usually has three main parts: an introduction, a body, and conclusion. For example, Students may give presentations about autobiography. So the students will begin and include introducing the topic, continue by explaining important part and contributions, and end by summarizing the key points. Basically, um, monologue help develop public speaking skills and the ability to present information clearly. Next, please. The second one is picture code storytelling. So it's similar to the limited versions at this level. No, the main continuation of the pictures or series of pictures is to make it turn into a seamless for a longer story or descriptions. So basically it means in this activity, a person tell a story based one or more pictures. So the pictures guide by the speaker in terms of organizing the sequence of events. Um, for instance, of my image might show child finding a lost animal. So taking care of that and eventually returning it to its owner. So the speaker must describe each event in order using clear transitions such as first, then, and finally. So this type of activity encourage creativity, imagination, and this use of descriptive language. Next, please. The third one is retelling a story or new event. So in these forms, is also considered of extensive monologues. So in this case, the speaker narrates something that has already happened. So such a story they have read or personal experience. For example, students might retell the story, the cruelty that happening nowadays in our country. So in their own word, describe the events, worst experience of the people. So another example of that is Cinderella, sorry. So the students, by their own words, describe what happened during the recent school trip. So the focus is on presenting the main events in chronological order while maintaining the clarity and coherence of the context. So extensive monologue, no? So extensive monologue is an important method of communications. There also involves included speaking or writing by one person. So it includes speeches, picture, code or storytelling, retelling events, and essay writing. All of those forms requires organization, clarity, detail, development of ideas by practicing extensive monologue. And that's all. Thank you.
That's all conclude our report. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.
Hello, hello, thank you